We continue from the last video where we talk about war, and if you haven't watched the last video, I don't know, I suggest you to watch it. You could not watch it anyway because I'm pretty sure you haven't watched the video because of the view count. So if you just recently came into this video for some reason, then you could watch the previous video, but this you don't have to. Basically, I'm not forcing you. Actually, please do. Now, since you most likely haven't watched the previous episode, I'm just going to recite the rule. Now, first of all, I'm only going to be including the major wars, so no any of those minor wars that no one even freaking knows about. And second of all, I'm not going to be including World War I and World War II because they're way too overcomplex to summarize in a freaking video. So if you want a summary, then just go to a freaking library or watch an oversimplified video or something. Now, let's start the video with the War of 1812, which happened in 1832. Shut up! It doesn't happen in 1832. It happened in 1812. To 1815, basically 2 years. So why is it called the War of 1812 but not some creative in the American Revolution 2.0 or like the British Revenge, the lightsaber of the dawn of the star? Well, first of all, because they just wanted to like basically expand the name. And second of all, not to confuse stupidity, the War of 1812 happened in the location is pretty obvious. It happened in the US and British North America, which is Canada if you don't know. Now, the belligerents, the battlers are the US tribes and the UK Empire. Canada. Main battlers of the US include James Madison, Jacob Brown, Winfield Scott, William Harrison, and Andrew Jackson, while the UK include George Prince Regent, Lord Liverpool, Sir Isaac Brock, and Charles de Salamberry. Now, there's about 15,000 USA attack and over 10,000 UK attack. Well, Napoleon is like just randomly doing crap outside. The UK is like, oh my god, let's just invade US because we need to make our empires bigger. Instead of invading all these other land, let's invade the US because we hate the US or something. Which the Treaty of Ghent ended this war, which caused the War of 1812 to be a draw. Now, the Creek War. The Creek War happened around 1813 to 1814, and the location is southern USA. Main battlers include the US, especially the group from the Lower Creek, Cherokee, and the Choctaw, and the Rested Creek. The main battlers' leaders are Andrew Jackson, William McIntosh, and the Rested Creek leader, William Weatherford, and the strength includes 7,000 US military and 4,000 Creeks. This war is a battle between land across the creeks, and Jackson soon managed to force the Creek to sign the Treaty of Fort Jackson, which ended causing the Creek to basically leave out of the US, causing the US to win. Mexican War of Independence, not to be confused with Cinco de Mayo. Did anyone say Cinco de Mayo? No, I did not say Cinco de Mayo. Get the heck out. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Now the war happened in 1810 to 1821. No, it's not the Cinco de Mayo. Okay, shut up. And the Mexico battlers include the insurgent and the Spanish. There's about 2,500,000 to 500,000 casualties, and the war is basically involved when Napoleon has caused occupation outbreak across Spain in September 16, 1820. That's the Mexican Independence Day, not Cinco de Mayo, okay? Miguel Medallion Castilla, the Catholic priest, created the entrance of the army through the three guarantee that led the Mexican city to cause Mexico to win. The U.S. slavery war, also known as the U.S. Civil War, happened in 1861 to 1865. 5 years, actually 4, but whatever. The main location is in, what did you guess, the USA, and the battles are between the USA and the Confederate States. And the main leaders include James Buchanan, but he's trash, so Abraham Lincoln, and Jefferson Davis, the leader of the Confederacy, and the strength include over 2,800,000 and 1,064,200. The death is a heck of a lot, I'm just not gonna say it. Now, the Civil War is basically a fight between where slavery is good, slavery is bad, slavery is just a devious sort of philosophy theory, or I don't freaking care about slavery. Now, the Civil War definitely divided the U.S. into the South and the North, and Abraham Lincoln helped the U.S. to win the U.S. back, and now the South belongs to the U.S. and the South is poor as heck. Americans have also gone through conflict around the world, and especially one of the biggest places in the Far East known as the Philippines, which is the Philippine-American War, which happened in 1899 to 1902, and as I said before, it happened in the Philippines. Main battles include for the U.S. William McKinley and Theodore Roosevelt, and for the Philippines we got Emilio that name. And the strength include over 126,000 to 180,000. And the war basically is between the US and the Philippines across the revolution. It concerns across the Philippine Revolution from the Spanish. So basically they lost, and then the US decided, oh, let's just get this land. So they did, and then the US won. Fellow communists, welcome to the Russian Civil War. This war happened in 1917 to 1922 between the Russian Empire across the battle between the Red Army, which is the Soviet, and the White Army, which is just regular Russia, nothing special. But battle's main leader include Vladimir Lenin and Alexander Kolchak. Strength for the Communist Russia renders to over 5 million army, while just the regular Russia renders to a merely half at 2,400,000 army. The casualties both render to around 650,000 deaths. And the war, how was it caused? Well, this guy take over many of the Russian and started to prepare a provisional government, which caused allies. And this also caused the US, Britain, and France to basically fight for the White Army. The Communist Empire ended up taking over regular Russia. Also, if you want to learn more about it, check out my video about the history of communism. Self-promote. Anyway, speaking of communism, let's move on to the Russo-Polish War, which is also known as the Polish-Soviet War, which happened in 1919 to 1921 in around Central and Eastern Europe and the Soviet Russia and Poland. And the main leaders include Leon Trotsky and Joseph Pilsudski. This war is caused from the military conflict between the Soviet Russia and Poland, which saw the siege to Ukraine. Russo-Polish ended up with the Polish winning, which basically caused Polish to not be a part of the Soviet Union, and Ukraine become a Soviet part. The Spanish Civil War happened during World War II. Again, we're not talking about World War II for those who just skipped the video for some reason. Now, the Spanish Civil War happened during 1930 to 1939, just in case you're curious. And the Spanish Civil War is a battle between Spain, Spanish Africa, and Spanish Republic. And the main battles against is the Spanish Allies, which include Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy. And the main leaders include Manuel Zana and Francisco Franco. The Greek Civil War, yeah, another Civil War. Now, the Greek Civil War happened so there's actually 3 phases for the Greek Civil War. The first one happened in 1943 to 1944, the second one happened in 1944 to 1945, and the final one happened in 1946 to 1949, with the main battles between the victor Lebanon and Greece. The war between the battlers usually include the National Republic of the Greek League and the National Liberal Front, and the Kingdom of Greece and National Liberal, and Kingdom of Greece and the Pruslandic Democratic. The first winner is the Lebanon, the second one is the Greece, and the third one is the Kingdom of Greece. Inevitably, Cold War happened in 1947 to 1991, and maybe one of the longest but isn't the most active. Its opponent is across the US and the Soviet Union, obviously, with a bunch of allies and a bunch of countries actually involved, but those two are the main one. And there were a bunch of leader, bunch of person, bunch of death, bunch of everything there. It's a big war. The Cold War is obviously a fight between political systems, whether communism, capitalism, and most of them are basically either choosing one of them or they were basically being taken by one of them, and a cross fight. And a bunch of events happen because it's a really broad event. There's the Cuban Missile Crisis, there's a bunch of the Korean War and Vietnam War, which I will discuss later, and a bunch of missile crisis and crap. These two leaders basically decide to bomb each other, but wait, wouldn't that cause a world catastrophe? Oh yeah, so let's just basically deny it and basically spy on each other's government, because apparently that's law proof, and you better spy on each other's government, because or else they would like, I don't know, bomb the world or something. They signed this freaking treaty, and then they started to spread more communism and capitalism across and fight basically more of a political system. This war ended when the Soviet Union dissolved and the US kind of won. I don't know, it's not really confirmed who won. If you travel to the Far East, you'll find the Korean War, which happened in, non-surprisingly, Korean Peninsula, which include both North and South Korea and mainland parts of China. The dates happened in 1950 to 1953, and the main combatants include the USA and South Korea, and North Korea checked China True and the Soviet Union True Hotel Travajo. Main fighters or leaders or whatever the heck you want to call it include Xiamen Ri, Chung Il Kwang, Harry S. Truman, Kim Il-sung, Mao, and Joseph Stalin. This war is a conflict between politics, basically wars across the North and the South Korean Communist Party to fight which one will take over the Korea and become the ultimate leader of Korea land. If you move back to the Far East, you'll find this beautiful country known as Vietnam. Now, Vietnam is most infamous for its most infamous war, which is known as the Vietnam War, and also lesser known as the Second Indochina War. It even got a freaking meme out of it, for God's sake. The date happened 1955 to 1975, and the location is in, take a guess. On this team, we got North Viet, Viet Cong, China, North Korea, and Pathet Lao. While on the opposing team, we got South Viet, US, Khmer Republic, South Korea, and regular Lao. The strength reaches to about 60,000 to 1,920,000, and the death include 2 million. The leader of North Viet is Ho Chi Minh, while the South Viet is Ngo Dinh Diem. Apparently, I don't know how to pronounce anything. North Viet take over South, and South Vietnam became communist because South Viet and America didn't get well. Boom. The Gulf War happened in the Gulf. The Persian Gulf, to be specific. The time happened 1990 to 1991, and the combatants include US, Kuwait, UK, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt against Iraq. The casualties include 75,000 wounded and 25,000 deaths. It's caused between the conflict between Iraq and coalition force. Iraq invasion of Kuwait, which caused Kuwait independence. Yay! They end up with a sweet victory. I love the Super Bowl. Now, there's definitely many wars that I didn't talk about from modern time, including the Afghanistan War, known as the War in Afghanistan, which happened in 2001, and the location is in the Black Hole. I'm just kidding. Now, the combatants include the ISAF, and it's basically caused by the invasion of Afghanistan, destruction, and the fall of the Taliban army. And there's also the Iraq-Iran War, which is the fight between territory, and there's also the Syrian Civil War, which is the fight for territory, and there's a bunch of other territory war. There's also World War III, I'm just kidding, but thanks for watching. If you haven't watched the previous video, rewind. Now, thanks for watching again. Hope if you want to subscribe, please do, because I have 0 subscribers, and I would really think because I spent a pretty long time on working on this video. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good day, folks!